Hello everyone, welcome to another episode with Audrey Codner doing some math. Same old, same old. So, today we're going to be looking at different types of graphs that you're going to be seeing for data analysis. So, if you're thinking about doing the ASVAB or GED or even the TEAS test, these graphs are definitely used. Yes, it might be like 5th or 6th grade math, but when you're doing those, they're really trying to look at your foundational skills. So we're going to look at these. So instead of me breaking them all down, you just go ahead and fill out the sheets. Okay, so right now we have a pie graph, hence a nice little circle. So if you notice, with a circle, it's 360, so we're looking at 100%. So if we're looking at fish is like 28%, let me see if I can zoom in for you. So fish is at 28%, cats at 9%, spiders at 11%, gerbil, who has a gerbil? I guess everybody does, at 15%, a dog at 15%. Now, we need to figure out how much is a snake, okay? So in order for us to figure it out, you have to add all of them and then subtract from 100. So if you got your 11, your 9, your 28, your 2 15s, which gives you 30, and then you subtract by 100, we're looking at, for the value of a snake, to be at roughly 22%. Okay. So if they ever ask you to complete the circle graph, that's basically what they're doing. All right. So, and if you notice, it kind of looks like half of the circle. So 28 plus 22, that'll give me 50. So it's like 50% of your data. So the first question it asks, which is kind of hard for you guys to see everything. So I'm trying to put it all together as best I can. All right, so which two pets did about half of the people say were their favorite? So again, as I said, when you're looking at the graph, half, so almost like half of the circle. So we're looking at snakes and fish. So they asked, what percent of the people prefer either the gerbil or the cat? Now, when they do these or things, that means you're focusing your attention on gerbils and cats. Okay? So then you're going to your circle. Gerbil have 15. 9 were cats. So all we have to do is just add the 15 and the 9, and you will get your 24%. So which pet did the greatest number of people like? So we're looking at our percentages, and it looks at fish at a whopping 28%. So you see how you're just like basically using your circle to answer your questions. That's basically it. So which pet did the least amount of people say were their favorite? So we're looking for the lowest percent. The lowest percent was cats. I don't believe that. All right, can't say it too loud for the cats in the other room. What percent of people say that dog was their favorite pet? So all you have to do is just look up dogs. Boom, 15%. Okay. So here's another scenario. We got class selection results. So we have, let me zoom in for you guys so you can see. So we have Adam at 12%, Faye at 10%, George a whopping 30%, Robin 20%, Rachel at 14%. So how much percentage would be Billy? Okay. Thanks, Roxy. Yes, 14. Yep. And the reason why we got that is we basically add the remaining numbers. Remember, for a circle graph, it always equals 100%. So basically, all you're doing is adding your percentages, subtract from 100 to see what's left over to complete your circle. So now it's saying what percent of people voted for Adam? Well, we'll go to Adam. Boom, that's 12%. Who won the election? Okay, who got the biggest percentage? Well, that's Georgie Boy. Okay, which two candidates have about half the votes? Okay, so which two has about half the votes? What do you guys think? Okay, it's maybe a little bit tough to see. So which two candidates have about half the votes? Yep, George and Robin. Good, because we got George with 30, Robin with 20. 30 plus 20, that gives me 50, so that's 50% of the votes. So I'm just going to say GNR. Guns N' Roses. Number 9, what percent of people voted for either Rachel or Faye? Okay, anytime they give you this or, they basically want to know the total for Rachel and for Faye. So Faye was 10, Rachel was 14. So 10 and 14, that will give you your 24%. And then who got the least number of votes? Well, we're looking at Faye. Okay? Nothing too strenuous, nothing too crazy. That's basically how you're looking at circle graphs, pie graphs. Okay? So I know the TEAS test definitely had that in their practice sheet, so I definitely wanted to go over it. So now we're going to continue on this path and we're going to look at what's called a line graph. So I'm just going through a whole bunch of series. I didn't want to take too much pages of my books because sometimes it takes a minute for them to come. But this time we got a bookstore or a bookshop made a line graph of the number of books sold per week during a certain period. So we're going to use the information to answer the questions. So I'm going to try to fit the graph on our screen. And as we can see, my x-axis is the number of weeks. And then my y-axis is the number of books sold. Okay? So as we're doing this, one question asks, how many books were sold in week 2? So since the x-axis is my week, I go to week 2, which is right here. And then I'm going to go up until I hit the graph. So here's my dot. I slide over, and it's at 120. Okay. This is kind of similar as if you can master this, then the idea of when you're looking at functions, especially when you get into pre-calculus and they start doing limits, and then you have wholes, and then you have solids, and you're trying to find what the exact point. So this is like the early stages of that. So it asks how many books were sold in weeks 3 and 4. So here's week 3. I'm going up. Again, it's 120. But then week 4, here I go to 4, I go up, and this is at 90. So 120 plus 90, yes. Thanks, Roxy. Got 210 books. Okay. So, how many books were sold in weeks 5, 6, and 7? So all we're doing is just finding what's in 5. Well, there was 90 in 5, very similar to week 4. Week 6, there was 60 of them. And week 7, there was also 90. All right, so 90 and 90 is 180. And then 180 and 60 gives us 240. Okay, so although there is some algebra, but trust me, there's also data analysis. Now, I'm not sure where most of you guys live, but here in Maryland, they are proposing to change the whole Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2 type situations, year after year. Now they want to have Math 1, Math 2, and then an elective 3 and 4. So Math 1 and Math 2 is supposed to be a combination of Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, and data analysis. Yeah. And then, of course, so basically we're trying to learn Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, and data analysis in 2 years. Okay. And then there's an elective. So like if anybody wants to go to like an advanced math class, if they want to do like calculus or AP pre-calc, believe it or not, there's AP pre-calc out there. So there's always going to be a mixture of stuff that I'm going to be showing here. Okay, so I know people are like, well, what is this? It's like, you're going to see this. You're going to see graphs. You're going to see charts. Like tomorrow, we're going to kind of revamp and look at scatter plots so we can get we call it the line of best fit. Some people call it something else, the fit line, which is very fun. Okay. So how many more books were sold in week 7 than in week 8? Well, week 7, there was 90 books. Week 8, there was 10 books. So they want to know how many more books. So that means I'm subtracting. So that gives me 80. All right. All right. So now, good. Nice fast horse. How are you doing? Muhammad, hello. How are you? Roxy, good job. You're doing awesome, girl. All right, so how many books were sold in all 8 weeks? All right, so all we have to do is take all our numbers. So in week 1, there was 60. Week 2, there was 120. There was another 120. So this is what I'm going to do. 120 times 2, since there's 2 120s. Okay, plus we have 90. We had 3 90s. Okay, so there was a 90 here, a 90 here, and a 90 here. Here's another 60. So I should basically say 2 times that 60. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the 8th one will be plus 10. So we got 2, 4, 7, and there's my 8th. So when I multiply all these, so my 2 times 60, that gives me 120, right? And then my 120 times 2, that gives me my 240. And then my 90 times 3 gives me 270 plus the 10. So when I combine everything, my 120, 240, 270 plus 10, really like 280, I get 640. and 40. Oops, can't even spell books. Books. Yep, you're correct. I don't know. Okay. It's easy to get a 90 with the right help and study. That's true. That's true. And I know a lot of people, they can do well on these exams, but sometimes they just need that extra person to kind of give them that boost. And you're right. Yeah. But here's the thing, Pog, they did. They stopped doing geometric proofs for 3 years in Maryland. So they were just working on shapes, they were just working on that, and they brought the proofs back. That's what happens when you've been around for a minute. You get to see all these fun changes. All right, and then the last one, okay, fast is telling me 80. Okay, what's the average number of books? So if we got the total, which was 640, and if we want the average, remember we did that? That's our mean. So we're going to divide that by the number of weeks or books, number of weeks. So that will give us our 80. So the average number of books that were sold each week was 80 books a week. Okay, because it was a total of 640 books that was sold, and we're talking about 8 weeks. 640 divided by 8 gives me my 80. Okay, good. When you test alone, you freeze. Oh. And I understand, because it's almost like you going to court and you've never been in a courthouse before and you're going because of what someone else did. And it does. It can be intimidating. But sometimes we just gotta trust ourselves and put on our big girl panties and just get in there and just hammer down and get it done. I don't know. It's tough. All right. So now what I'm looking at, okay, so we did circle graphs, we did line graphs. Now we're looking at what's called bar graphs. And I know you're probably like, oh, histograms. No. Take a closer look. Okay. There is space in between. When there's space in between each of them, these are bar graphs. So that means the amounts that's going on inside of each of these, there's no decimals. Okay. You can use either categories, okay, to indicate each of them. Okay. You might have a certain range. That's what happens when you have a bar graph. Now, histograms, there is no space in between. Okay. So basically you can get numbers in between numbers. So if I want to say, oh, I can get 1 through 5, and this one would be 5 through 10, and this one would be 10 through 15, and 15 through 20, and 20 through 25. Okay. So you can count in any which way that you want to put it in what's called increments. Okay. So since there's spaces in here, we're looking at rabbits. Okay, I didn't even read the whole thing, but all I know is I got rabbits, and in order for me to figure out how many I have, I look at the top of my tail here. So that goes all the way up to 4. So for a dog, okay, what kind of pets do you have? A dog, it's not 7, but it's not quite 8. All right, so we kind of got like a weird percentage here, but I have a feeling it's supposed to go all the way up to the top. You know, sometimes you know how you're trying to do any kind of editing on your computer, and when you sit there and you're like, I just want this graph to touch this line. Why won't you do that? And then 3 hours later, then you just say, F it, and then you just keep going. Yeah, editing. You gotta love it. So I have a feeling that dogs, and actually, you know, I'll even help them out. We all need a little bit of assistance once in a while, right? So Let's just say that's going to be 8. There we are. All right, so cats goes up to 10. Goldfish going up to 6. Hamster. Does anyone still have hamsters as pets? There you go, 5. Like everybody's getting boa constrictors and all kinds of craziness now. All right. So with that information being said, so when they ask, what is the theme of the graph? Well, the theme of the graph, they give us the title. Like, what kind of pets do you have? They're asking people what kind of pets they have. What is the total of children? Do they tell me the total of children? Nope. They only talk about how many pets. Or, what else can we do? A few hamsters? 2 years? Okay. There we go, Day. Thank you. So remember, they are basically taking the survey. These are our kids. Okay? So we have 6 and 4, that's 10. Here's another 10, so that's 20. And then 8 and 5, that gives me 13. So that will give me a total of 33 kids that participated in this survey. Okay? Yep. So the most popular was the cats. Good. The least popular was what? What was the least popular? Might need to zoom in a little bit. Yep. Our lovely little rabbits. Does anybody have rabbits anymore for pets? Now everybody's bringing pot-bellied pigs. Oh, it's just a wildcat cub. Oh, it's a mountain lion cub. Isn't it adorable? Yeah, it's about to rip your face off. Wait till that thing gets older. All right. How many students do not like rabbits? Have you seen pet cows? Yes. Day. Yes. What was I watching on TV? Some ritzy titsy person was like, hey, and they actually called it short ribs or something. No, ribeye. They called the pet cow ribeye. How effed up is that? You sitting there licking your lips. Yes, there you go. I was like, ribeye? And it's the cutest thing. But seriously, like, I can't take it with these cats walking around, like, thinking that they own stuff. Can you imagine a cow? How are you going to housebreak that thing? Anyway. This is stuff that I don't deal with. All right. So, basically, anyone that likes a rabbit, just basically take the 33 and minus the 4. Okay, that's how you figure out how many kids don't like rabbits. And how much is that? That's how many people like the rabbits. So how many that does not? Doesn't mean they dislike rabbits. True. But that's how I'm figuring it out. Okay. I was like, good point. But we got people walking around with pet squirrels, acting like they're not going to bite them and picking up, what do they call those things, with the raccoons all over the place like pets. All right, so how many students like dogs? We can say a lovely 8. Yeah, I won't pick E. E's a stupid question. Sorry, I shouldn't have stupid. No, there are stupid questions. And that's weird. Because you're right. Just because they don't have a rabbit doesn't mean that they don't like them. Okay. Yeah, so I'm just going to exit out. Because you know why? Because I can. Fast Horse, what would you like to add? What would you like to add? About ribeye and pet squirrels? Or about the math? Fast Horse, you still here? Okay. Okay, so what percentage of students like rabbits and dogs? All right, what percentage of students like rabbits and dogs? You practice enough to never get it wrong. Okay. You're adding extra credit. Look at you. At least you're doing it correctly. I loved when I was in the classroom for kids that didn't do anything. Like, can I get extra credit? I'm like, listen to the verbiage. Extra. Extra. All right. So, yes, we got our 4 and our 8. So 4 plus 8, that will give us our 12. And it was out of the entirety, which is 33. Good. Thanks, Day. And then you do your division, and you find your what, 32%? All right. Okay, so that's bar graph. I know, I feel like it's just like N1, N2, N3. So we got 2 more, and then we're done. Yeah, we're done. Today is, I'm sorry, I'm just not. I'm just not. I'm just really not. But I promise that I'll give information so you won't be missing out. But really, deep down, I just don't know. All right, so now this is a histogram. Okay, look. In between, there is no space. Okay, there's no space in between. So we ask, how many students receive? All right, so we go use the histogram to answer the following questions. All right, so for our X's, we got our gifts. And then for our Y's, we have students. So how many students received between 0 and 2 gifts? So that means we're looking at this section here. So how many? It goes up to 2. Okay, just like how this is going to be 3, this is 3, this is 3, and this is 4. Okay. Okay. All right, so now, how many students are represented in this histogram? Okay, so did the totals, what we got when we add them up? Okay, Caitlin's saying 15, Cookie. Hey, Cookie. Saying 15, Roxy, 15, Fast Horse, 15. Good. All right, because all we have to do is add them up. 3 and 3 and 6. 6 plus 4 is 10. 10 plus 5 will give us our 15. All right, if a student receives 6 gifts, okay, which bar would they be added to? Okay, so would it be number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5? Hey, Janice, how are you? Gomez, saying 4. Okay, good job. So day 3 and 4. Now, here's the one thing about histogram. This one, when I go from 0 to 2, I can go from 0 to 1.999999. Okay? It's not going to include the 2. Whereas in this bar, it's going to include the 2, but go up to 4. That means it will go up to 3.99999999. Then this one will include the 4, but it will go up to 5.99999999. This one will include the 6, and it will go up to 7.99999999. I feel like Chevy Chase on Caddyshack. No. If you don't know what I'm talking about, get off my page. All right. So so this will include 8, but this will get us to like close to like 9.999999. All right. So when we're really looking at it, if a student is receiving 6 gifts, it's actually going to be not so much in 3, but more so in 4. Okay, so it's actually going to be in this 4th one. Okay, because in the next one over, it includes the 6. All right, so yes, 4 only. Now, for number 4, this one says most students receive between blank and blank gifts. Okay. So they receive between the most gifts. Where are they? Between what number and what number? There you go, Caitlin, saying 8 and 10. Hello, Antonia. Okay, good. Oh, I'm so glad. I know. I got mine. I was like super stoked. Enjoy. And I think I might be able to sell on TikTok shop, guys. Cross fingers. Okay. So Ethan is going to be the most. So that means I'm looking at my tallest piece of the histogram. So it's going to be between 8 and 10. All right. Okay. All right. So now, scroll down here. So this time we're looking at test scores. All right, I've been dealing with that all day today. All right, so looking at test scores. So we're looking at right here is like 50 to 59. Then we have 60 to 69, 70 to 79, 80 to 89, 90 to 99. So if we can, taking a look here, this we got from 50 to 59, there were 6 students. 60 to 69, there is 7 students. 70 to 79, there were 6 students. 80 to 89, there are 9 students. And 90 to 99, we have 7 students. Okay, with that little bits of information, how many students are being represented in this histogram? We have 6, 7, 6, 9, 7. Am I a teacher? I used to be a classroom teacher. Now I'm an online tutor. Yep. So this summer, my goal is to help at least, that's my personal goal, is to help at least 30 people. At least. That means 30 or more people to get their GED, maybe help them with college entrance, Accuplacer. Maybe they're taking, they have to retake a class and they just need some more assistance. I want to help at least 30 people this summer. Yep, 35. Okay. Yep, so this is a total of 35 people in this histogram. Good. Hi, God is good. How are you? Gotta get your funds up for that. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm trying. Hello, Jonathan. This summer. Okay. Yes. So we're trying to get it all together. All right, Fast Taurus, you're telling me 13. So we're saying how many students scored between a 50 and 60? Between a 50 and 60. Okay. So be careful with that, Fast Taurus. Read it one more time. I think I know how you got your answer, but read it one more time. So how many students scored between a 50 and 60? Pog saying 6, Cookie saying 6 with a question mark. Okay. No problem. There you go. Okay, Roxy, yes, with a 6. So between 50 and 60. So we're looking at here to about here. So we're not including what's going on past 60, just up to 60. So it is just going to be the 6. All right. Most students scored between a blank and blank. So what was the highest score? I wish I could get everything situated for you guys. I know it's kind of hard. Okay, so Jonathan F saying 80 to 89. Guess that was a hard test. Okay. Okay, so between 80, I agree. Okay, up to, but doesn't have to be including because we're saying if they scored between. So they're going to score between 80 and 90. Okay. Because we want to be in between. I know, it's this verbiage. It gets to me as well. There's times I had to read it 3 times before it registered in my brain. Because I know it's this pile, but they're saying the keyword was between. So we can start here at 80, but it's going to be up to or close to that 90. But it's between the numbers. I know, it's trickery. All right. And then the last one says, if a student scores a 54, which bar would they be added to? See, I can't even speak. Which bar? Bar 1, bar 2, bar 3, bar 4, bar 5. If they scored a 54, which bar would they be? There you go. Fast Horse 1, Antonio 1. Crazy Lady D 1. Pog first. Yes. Good job, guys. It'll be the first one. Okay. So even though I'm keeping it as simplistic as possible, and trust me, but we all see how certain things can be tweaked, right? So it's nice to kind of go through these nice and easy. We got one more. So we did the circle, we did the bar, we did a line. What else did I do? A histogram. I think that's all so far. Yes. So now we're going to interpret histograms. Kind of like on their skewness. That is way too small for you guys to see. All right, so forget that. And in your mind, you're like, oh, this would be so amazing. And then when you see it, you're like, I'm making people go blind. I mean, I can't do this to people. All right, so last one, dot plots. So we kind of talked a little bit about these before, especially when we were looking at mean, median, mode, and a little bit of range for variation. So we have a couple of these. The students in one social studies class were asked how many brothers and sisters, siblings, they each have. The dot plot here shows the results. So, how many of the students have 6 siblings? All right. So how many students have 6 siblings? So down here is representing the siblings. I think that's probably what's happening. The dots is showing the people. Does that make sense? Okay. So these are the number of siblings. Someone doesn't have any siblings. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5, there's 6. So how many of the students have 6 siblings? Oh, hello, Reed. Thank you. There you go. Soon to be a Moto Tech. Good job. All right. So basically there's one student that has 6 siblings. Do we kind of see it? So how many of the students have no siblings? Okay, all right. Thank you, Antonio. Okay, so how many of the students have no siblings? 3. Good. 3. Yes. Okay, right here at the 0, there's 3 of them. So how many of the students have 3 or more siblings? Okay. Okay, I'm seeing some 5s, I'm seeing some 11s. So 3 or more siblings. I wonder if my graph is in the way. Okay. All right, so some people are telling me 11. I'm seeing a lot of 5s and 3s and 7s. Okay, so 3 or more siblings. So right here, I'm looking at the 3. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people that has 3 siblings. Okay, for 4 siblings, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 people that has 4 siblings. Okay, 5 people, they're not here. 6 people has 6 people. Okay, for 6 siblings, there is 1 person that has 6 siblings. God bless them. All right, so let's count. It's 3 or more. So you have your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there's 11 students that has 3 or more siblings in their family. Yes, soon to be, I saw you earlier. Good job. Pog, good job. Okay. Do we all see it now? Okay. Because this was like 6 people. This is 4. This is 1, and then we have 3, 3, and 3. Okay. All right. You got 10? Did you forget about the 1 with the 6? So if I come over here, you got your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. All right, pleasure. All right. Good evening, creation. How are you? All right. Okay. Last one. Yes. Okay. The resting pulse rate. Okay, my nurses, here we go. The resting pulse rate were recorded for 16 boys in a gym class before they exercised. So the line plot here shows the results. Okay, so sometimes they'll make it into dots. Sometimes they'll just put little crosses. Okay, but the process is still exactly the same. All right, so they asked, what is the range of the pulse rates? So what would be the range? Why add the 1? Why add the 1 from the previous one? Because since it says 3 or more siblings, this person here has 6 siblings. So they're part of the group. Okay, they're part of the group. Make sense? Okay. All right. So what would be my range of this data? Okay, we're brushing up on old terminology, but it's not going to go away. What will be my range? Okay, Pog say 6. Okay, Diamond, welcome in, saying 6. Okay, how do we find our range? Okay. How do we find our range? So the range of the data, remember, it's your highest number minus your lowest number. Okay, it's your highest number minus your lowest number. So my highest number in this case is 85, and my lowest number is 79. That's where they're getting the 6 from. So that's the range of my numbers. Okay, good. Yes, we have to subtract. Excellent. So then they ask, how many boys had a pulse rate over 81? Okay, key, over 81. Okay. So Pog is saying 9, Diamond saying 9, Fast Horse is saying 9, Pleasure is saying 9. Okay, Crazy Lady D saying 9. Okay, Janice is saying 9. Excellent. Key verbiage right there is over. So we're not including the 81. So we're just counting these 3 plus these 3 gives me 6. 1 gives me 7, 8, 9. So how many boys had a pulse rate of 83? Okay, Fast Horse is telling me 4. Hello, South Africa. How are you? Diamond saying 4. Pleasure saying 6. Crazy or classy. I don't know why I call you crazy lady. Classy lady D. That's the way my day has been going, guys. Can't spell, can't do anything. I'm one of those. I feel like one of those days that I need a pep talk. I think that's it. Appreciate me for this. All right. Well, thank you. All right. So it is going to be 4. So once I go into 83, I see 1, 2, 3, 4 being represented here. Okay. All right. I know. I'm still here. I'm one of those people that like to keep promises, but I'm sick and tired of people trying to take advantage of me. It's trying to suck my energy out. But that is it, guys. I know you're probably like, what? We're done? I'm like, yeah, we're done. Because, there's only so much about circle graphs and line graphs and dot plots that we can just deal with. But tomorrow, we're going to be looking at scatter plots and trying to find what's called the line of best fit. So we're looking at, do we have a positive correlation, a negative correlation, no correlation, and what does that mean? As also, what will be that equation line that best fits our group of data. All right. So, it's almost kind of like averaging, like trying to figure out where's that middle grade when we get everything. All right, not a problem. Jupiter. It's too much. It's too much. But anyway, we are here. So if anything, be on the lookout. I might be on TikTok Shop sometime tonight. I'm going to try to put whatever I can put together. How to graph ellipses and hyperbolas. I would, but it's not on the test. Because I know once I start doing that, I'm only going to have like 3 people. And TikTok is very particular about certain things. So I tried to shoot for what is closest to be on the test. Than having my extremes stuff. I don't know. So if anything, you don't have to tap. I appreciate you guys, but I'm going to try to, just in case you guys came a little bit later and you're like, oh, I missed it. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I put all of my lives on there. Okay. It's completely up to date. The only thing that's not up to date is the shorts, but all of the lives are completely up to date. So give me a little bit of time for me to upload this. It shouldn't take us too long since this is not like a 2-hour venture. And just be on the lookout for TikTok shops to see if I can put these lovely books on. So far, I think it's going to work out. I don't know. Got something today, so we're going to see. Now, and if you want to get math notebooks, you can go onto my website or wait until I put it on TikTok shop. And then for anyone that is thinking about going to nursing, that you need someone, a blessed RN is the perfect person to go to for working on your dosage math. And if you need another person, Impact Math from Miss Taylor, she usually her evening ones is her subscription. So if you're like, I've been trying to get to her, Audrey, and I can't in the evening, she has a paid subscription. Yes, but her mornings or her early days are her free ones. So if you do need someone to do some extra stuff during the day, you can do that as well. If you're looking for a chemistry tutor, I'm not sure what she's going to do for the summer, but she was on tonight. You can check out Professor TK. If you want to learn how to add, subtract, multiply, divide using a abacus, go see my friend Learning with Lynette. She's amazing. And then a new addition for me is Nancy, who is an online elementary tutor. So if you have your little kiddos and already they've been home for a couple days and you're just like, oh dear God, you need something to do, go check out my online elementary tutor with Nancy. She does reading and math. She's actually doing a math laboratory this summer. So definitely reach out to her. And if you're thinking about doing any kind of homeschooling, she definitely does homeschool curriculum as well. So she will definitely be a great resource to tap into. All right. Ooh, I know, right? You're going to be like, look at my factor sheet. Oh, that's all right. I mean, you can still make a post and you can put it on TikTok. I would greatly appreciate that. That would be amazing. Like take a picture of your notes. I know we didn't do any notes inside the notebook today, but this is basically what I do. Like I organize a lot of things. There might be some formulas that you have, maybe some steps that you want to take a look at. But the one thing, not just plain old notes that it also has a factor sheet. So if you're not very strong with multiplication, or it's hard for you to factor out those radicals, or trying to figure out the right factors for breaking down for factoring, okay? You have this from 1 all the way to 200. This book is really designed for the 7th graders that are taking Algebra 1 all the way up to college, okay? So just for people to have those things, to give them those assistance, as well as some of the rules and regulations that most of us just cannot remember because there's so much to remember with math. So order of operations, exponents, linear equations, quadratic equations, and functions. Looking at the properties of quadrilaterals. I helped a couple kids with this today. And then, the area of a sector, arc length, volume, and surface area and perimeter. So it's like all those little tidbits. And I'm actually going to be adding on to my new book, which will be coming out soon, just in time for the new school year. Enjoy summer, because as you see how quickly basically February, March, April, and May went, good God, what do you think is going to happen during the summer? Like, I don't care if you're like, I don't know what I want to do for the summer. Just go out, go to a beach, walk around, jog, whatever. Do it and do it well. Just don't get arrested because I do not have bail money. All right, so then you have your Pythagorean theorem. I worked a lot of kids with that. And remember, you can use the Pythagorean theorem to get your distance. You don't always have to remember the distance formula. And also other trig identities that is being used. Okay, so that is the math notebook. If you like my notes and you're like, ooh, Audrey, can I get your notes? Well, you can. because I actually put it inside of a book. You're like, what? It's called Audrey's Notes. Audrey's Notes. All right, so what I did was I took all my notes that I've been basically performing for you guys since February 2nd, and I compiled them into 3 books. So this one is book 2. Yes, this one's book 2 because it's got a lot of functions in it. And if you notice, each of this section have a QR code. The QR code goes directly to the live that I actually did the notes in. So you don't have to go running all over the place and saying, oh, I wish I had her notes, or oh, which of those lives does it go with? So now all you have to do is just scan the QR code and boom, you can go have the live and you can watch and follow along. So you can use it for notes, you can use it for review, you can use it for mediation. You can just have it, have fun with it, enjoy, pass it on. So that is definitely going to be on sale. All these are currently on sale on my website. And if you want, I still have some space. Let's see if I can get you guys here. Does it say on the book what's in them? Most of them have like those titles, like this one has formula, functions, and foundations. Book 1 was like the early stages, so there's angles, equations, and early concepts. Because remember, this is not going to be, because my lives is not a curriculum. I just basically like pull some stuff that my students were going after, and then I basically showed those to you guys. So it's not gonna, it's really like a whole hodgepodge of stuff. And a lot of it is gonna be on GEDs. I even have, I just saw it. This is what happens when you flip through a little too quickly. Yeah. And then of course there's little notes on the back of it. So, because why should I make it super easy for you guys? You know, you can see my lives. Oh, here it is. So when you have like those ASVAB type questions, so I pull a couple questions out. Then we also talked a little bit about least common multiples. So it's always something. So this time everything is full. Every page is full. There's not like, you know, there might be some that have like some extra problems that I didn't do, but you can do them. And then you can say, hey, Audrey, can you check my answer? I'm more than willing to do that, okay? So they're all listed here. Have I converted logs? Yep, that's in there. That's definitely, I covered that. And you can actually see those lives on my YouTube channel. So let me show you, I think, maybe not. Let me come here. All right, so if you are thinking about GED, AccuPlacer, ASVAB, okay, if you go to my profile, click on the link to my website, click Open Anyway. See, I'm showing you. And this is my website. You can look at it, enjoy it, listen to the video if you want. But I really want you to scroll all the way down to where it says want to pass the GED, ASVAB, and TEAS test. Remember, TEAS is for my nurses. Okay, ASVAB for my military, GED. Let's get the high school equivalency, all right? So we are starting next week. Okay, people that signed up, be on the lookout. I'm going to send you guys an email. I need to get a little bit of information from you guys. And if you just click on Learn More, so it will take you to, all right, a little bit of info, a little bit information, but then it tells you what are you going to get. So, guys, listen to this. It's a live Zoom class, so we're not doing it on TikTok. It's actually through Zoom. And what we do, we're going to meet twice a week. So it's either a Monday, Wednesday at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time or Tuesday, Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to meet for 12 weeks. Guys, I know there's a lot of 8-week classes out there, but trust me, if you already involved yourself in an 8-week class, you feel like everything is being rushed, and then you feel like you're not being heard because there's so many people in the class. I'm trying to keep these courses low. I'm not asking for like 50 people. No, I'm not even asking for 20 people. I'm trying to keep it like around 10. Okay, so I can give you some intention, so you have questions. It makes you feel safe that you can ask these questions whenever you need to. Okay, now I know I'm coming at you before the summer. You probably already had summer plans, so that's why replays are going to be available for every session. You will be given some kind of homework. Yep, you will. You're going to have some homework. I'm going to give you some test taking strategies, just like I would do on these lives. I will give you some situations. I will practically pull some GED and some ASVAB, some questions, and post them and just have you guys try to solve them. So you can see that if you do the process of elimination, it will make your life so much easier. Then you have real-time questions and answers. The first session, we're going to have questions and answers at the end. But from there on, we're always going to start off with Q&A, spend like a good half an hour with that. I really want to make sure I block that time off for you. So that means you have to do the homework. Don't be like the kids. Let me do the homework on the bus on the way to school. Glue is still wet. Yeah, like we've been there. Okay. What time are you coming live? Usually I'm live at 9:30 Monday through Thursday, 1 o'clock on Fridays, and Saturday and Sundays at 8:30 p.m. So I try to get it done. Yeah, we all know. And then you also get copies of my notes, just like how I have for these Audrey's notes. So you can get copies of my notes. So there's no excuse. So if you want to get this GED, trust me, I want to help. And maybe this is why people love to think that they can walk all over me. Maybe that's what it is, because I really do care. I don't want you to feel pressured. I don't want you to feel judged. I just basically want to break down these concepts so you can pass the test. At the end of the 12 weeks, I want people already signed up to take their GED, their ASVAB, whatever it is. And I want you to take it and be able to run with it with pride. That's what I really want you to do. And depending on how this goes in the summer, I'm thinking about doing it again in like the fall/early winter, because I know there's a lot of people that are trying to take the TEAS test in January, because I think they said the next one for Maryland, I don't know about everywhere else, is June the 24th. And that, if you're not very strong with math, yeah, you can try to take it, but just be ready to be prepared to possibly take it again. Okay? I do have faith, but I want to be realistic at the same time. All right? So, like I said, this is for people that are going after their GED, the ASVAB, and the TEAS test. And the cost for it, like just for the basic, is like $147. The only thing I'd add additional to this is if you want to do tutoring. If you want more like a one-to-one, there's like an additional cost. But if you just want like, you know what, Audrey, I really want to do like a check-in or something like that, we could probably do like a small group check-in or something. We can figure it out. All right, but look at it. It's only $6.13 per session. Seriously? Good luck trying to find that anywhere else. And I know some people are like, well, I could find this for free because my church or this place does that. And I'm like, but you're here watching this video. How's that working for you, Shugs? All right. So if you are interested, just message me and try to message me. I'm trying to keep it open until after I want to shoot for after the second week, because after the second week, which will be on the 20th or the 21st, that Friday, Saturday, I want to close it because I don't want us to get too far ahead and then people come in and they're like, what's going on? And then it slows the rest of us down. We're not slowing anything down. So, the first week, just to get everything like, oh, this is actually worth it and all that stuff. Yeah. And then people can come on in. All right. So that I just wanted to show you. And again, if you want to, let me backtrack a little bit. So again, this is my website. If you want to order your Audrey's notes, I do have digital copies, but they're mostly for the bundles, for like the 2-book bundle or the 3-book bundle. So you can get those on digital. And if you want to still do like an algebra course, but you're just like, groups is not my thing, I do have like a self-paced course that you can take. And that will still give you the quizzes and the extra practice problems. And then whenever you need some extra assistance, you can give a call. We'll set up a tutoring session, and then we'll just take it from there. All right. I'm trying to keep myself really busy, guys. Really, really busy. All right. So Ultimate Notebooks, again, if you want to order it, you can order it through me with my self-published, or you can order it on Amazon. Okay. If you really want it super, super duper duper quick. And this is about it. All right. What about for teachers to use as a reference for Algebra 2 and up? Okay, well, I haven't done anything for Algebra 2 and up because I've been so focused on the preliminary stuff, but I can add that to my summer regime so I can get that done. Would that be a little too late for you, Mama? Sorry. I just like when people put their name Mama. Mama Bear. Okay, not a problem. So now if you're thinking, I was just waiting for your response, Mama. Sorry. So even if you're thinking about, I really want to do this, still message me, because you never know what might pop up. Because there are some people that actually donated. And if you're a person that you want to donate for someone to take advantage of this, come on. I will gladly accept it, because all of those spots are definitely filled. And they filled up really quickly, which is awesome. So that would be it. Okay. Oh, hold on. All right. So which book could you order? Oh, okay, for basically the Algebra 2 and up. I would go for basically either books 2 and books 3. Because there are, mostly for the linear stuff, for review, if they want to do with the Audrey's notes. There's factoring in there. And if anything, you could go to the YouTube channel to peruse through there, and then you can just ask. And you're just like, all right. So basically, book 2 was the month of, let me see, April to May. So any of those videos from April to May, that will be your best bet. And then you can probably do book 3, and book 3 deals with formulas and functions, and a little more, you might see a couple of GED questions in there, some more factoring. And that is basically, no, book 3 is April to May. Book 2, there we go, is March to April. There we are. Okay. All right, thank you so much for the support, guys. I greatly appreciate it. Let me switch over so I can see your responses, so I can chat to you. One of these days, I'm actually going to have a normal, everyday chit-chat with all of you guys, instead of me just okay, type it in. All right. Yep, book 3 looks good. Okay, good. New to teaching Algebra 2 and need to make mini recordings for classes next year. Oh, perfect. That'll be awesome. Yep. So even you can use it for mediation. You can use it for maybe some enrichment, depending on some of the kids. Because they all come in at the same time, but just because they may have the same disabilities, they do not have the same abilities. So anything I could do to support, let me know. All right. So again, if you guys want to reach out, please do not hesitate. Just message me. I will message you back. Some days it might take a little bit slower than others, but I will definitely message you back. Just give me a day. It's like I'm wrapping up with a lot of my students and dealing with graduations, and yeah, there's been a lot of stuff going on. All right. Okay, is there anything you need from me? Let me know, please. Oh, thank you, Janice. Thank you. Thank you. Just keep me in your prayers, guys. Keep me in your prayers. I need all prayer warriors. Spread the word. If you have to make a post and say, hey, this is my friend Audrey, and she needs prayer. I'll take every single ounce of prayer possible. Okay? All right. Thank you. All right. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to try to upload this, and I will see you guys tomorrow. We're going to be doing more of, like I said, some scatter plots. Try to revamp ourselves with linear equations like y equals mx plus b, and looking at like correlations a little bit, positive, negative, and no correlation. So we're just going to do some stuff. Okay? All right. Have a lovely evening. And again, if you have questions, do not hesitate to message me. Okay? And thank you so much for the likes and the follows and the taps. I greatly appreciate it. I really don't think that I deserve it tonight, but I greatly appreciate it. All right. Okay. Have a wonderful night. Take care.